Hey guys, I think this is the most amazing thing that I've seen this year, and I want to share it with you. For those of you that aren't familiar with the Bible, the book of Revelation is the last book, and it was written by St. John about 1,000 years ago. St. John says that an angel came to him and showed him visions of the end of days, or the last days of our civilization. And he said the angel told him to write this down in a book, and that's what Revelation is. In Revelation 12, St. John describes a vision that he sees in the sky of a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon beneath her feet, and 12 stars around her head. In my last video, I showed you the astronomer who points out that the constellation Virgo has 12 stars around her head. And what you're going to see here is, I believe, without question, what St. John saw in his vision. And I want to read this scripture to you right now. Before I read the scripture, though, I just want to say that I believe there are multiple meanings for each scripture of the Bible, so that St. John talks about the red dragon in the sky. I believe that the red dragon represents not only the comet, but also the governments of our world right now. So there isn't just one meaning to all of this, but today I just want to focus on the comet. So I'm not going to go into the other aspects of Revelation, because it gets really, really complicated, and it's hard to interpret. It's really hard to understand. But here's the vision right here. This happens on September 30th of this year. Let me just read you the scripture. This is Revelation chapter 11, verse 18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged, and that thou give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, both small and great. And that thou destroy them who destroy the earth. And the temple of God was opened in heaven, and there was lightning and thunder, and great hail, and an earthquake. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, was travailing in birth. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman for to devour her child before it was born. Let me darken this so you can see the planets. Now there's Venus and Saturn in Virgo's belly, and you can clearly see the sun and Mercury on her arm and the moon below her feet. Okay, let me center on this. For those of you who don't have Stellarium yet, it's free software, and it's really amazing. I love this software. If you want to focus on one constellation and go back in time, then you just click on it and you go down here and click center. Okay, now we're able to go back to September 15th. And this thing can go really fast. before you know it, you end up in 1900 or something. It goes far back. Okay, so you can see that the sun starts at the very top part of the arm of Virgo. Now watch the sun and Venus and Mercury make their way right down the side of Virgo and into her belly. Okay, now let's watch the birth of Venus. And you can see the date right down here. Venus is born on October 4th. Okay, read it up. And Mercury is next. And Mercury is born on October 9th or 10th. Okay, let's read it up. Here comes the sun. There, it looks like the sun is born on October 18th. And there's one more. Saturn has a very long orbit, but you can still see the sun is it just goes all the way down the side of Virgo. Okay, and Saturn is being born. And watch this date. 11/11/11. Saturn is born. So that's the virgin birth right there. And I don't think that's an accident. I think this information was put into our culture for a reason. Let me show you something else real quick. Here is Comet Elenin moving into the inner solar system. And this is where it's at on September 30th. So you can see from the Earth's perspective that the comet would appear to be before Venus and before Virgo. And I had a dream years ago that there was a red moon in the sky, or what I believed was a red moon. And then just recently I had a vision of a large reddish object in the sky that appeared to be the size of the moon or larger. So I believe that is the comet, and it very well could be what St. John saw in his vision as well. Okay, I'm going to go back to March, and I want to show you what the angel showed me. When I had this vision, I didn't understand what it meant. But now I think I understand what the vision meant. Let me go forward. Okay. As this is turning, let me just explain to you what the vision was. I saw the angel that looks like Jesus standing in the south and facing the north. And his right arm was pointing toward the east, and his left hand was pointing toward the west. And I believed that he was pointing at two stars, but I didn't know which stars they were. But I knew that the stars were at about the same elevation in the sky, because the other angel had shown me that if you had a mirror, you would see a mirror image in the sky of these two stars. So I believe that he was pointing at Venus and Saturn. Okay, let me just show you where Venus and Saturn are. So if you put your left finger on Venus and hold it there for a second. I'll go over here to where Saturn is. See, there's Saturn. So if you put your right finger on Saturn, you can see, and if you leave both of them there, you can see that they are at about the same elevation. And I searched through all of March, and I only saw the match on the 21st and the 22nd. So I don't know what this means, but I was praying for the answer to when I should go to the mountains for safety, because it seemed like they were telling me something about Venus. They were pointing to the star in the east, and they were very urgent about something, and so I was asking when I should go to the mountains, and this was the answer that I got. The angel was standing in the south facing north, with his right arm pointing toward Venus and his left arm pointing at Saturn, and showing that they were equal to each other in the sky on March 21st. So I I I plan to go to the mountains on that date because of that vision. But I want to show you just one last thing. As you know, I'm sure, March 21st is the equinox, the spring equinox. It's the beginning of spring, and which marks the beginning of the renewal of life. The trees turn green again and the flowers bloom, and life begins again. We'll look at the constellation that's rising on the spring equinox this year. It's Pisces, which is represented by a fish, and the fish represents Jesus Christ, who represents the age of peace, I believe. And this is really amazing to me. I was just amazed when I saw this in Stellarium, because I didn't have Stellarium at the time that I had the vision. So all of this is just mind-blowing for me. And I just really think it's significant, but I don't really understand how or why. I'm just guessing, and I think possibly what it means is that Jesus is saying that this is the dawning of the age of peace, and that we are going to go through birth pain, but that it is ultimately for the good, for a new age of peace on this planet. So I guess I'll just leave you with that.